big round of applause for Margaret Cho making her second appearance on the 500.
Thank you.
You're one of the few. It's you and our other 6-time champion Neil deGrasse Tyson. That's not true, but he's been on once. Why do I feel like you've had sex to Massive Attack?
I have had a lot of sex to Massive Attack because it's one of those things where you can put this record on, actually all of their records on, and not feel as if you've heard it before. It works as ambient sound as well as a record that can be replayed, as well as music that can be kind of swapped out, and it's almost like classical music in that, and standards. To me, these are very much standards in the European songbook that can be used again and again.
So you're saying this is like British Cole Porter?
Exactly. They're very they're interesting. The musicality of Massive Attack is really interesting because they're less songs and more suites, you know.
Ooh.
So you have more of a these kinds of orchestral movements throughout. They're closer to classical music than they are to pop music.
No, I agree with that because I especially in their later work, the songs are more movements and there's sections, and it's very much like a symphony that Beethoven or Mozart or somebody would construct. I mean, I think there's I don't know about this album per se, but definitely as Massive Attack grew and kind of evolved with their music. So do me a favor, tell me your story with this band. Like, where did it start and how did it get to where it is now?
Well, I really started with this band probably from Nena Cherry is maybe my entry point. Because I loved Nena Cherry in the 80s and was really hungry for a different sound. And I loved Nena Cherry, Malcolm McLaren, all of that kind of the hip-hop that was coming from Britain. And I was curious about it. I was curious about the fashion. I was curious about Buffalo Girls. I was curious about what was going on over there because it seemed like, okay, it was very much goth. You and I talked about The Cure. Yeah. I had been going to goth clubs in the south of England in the 80s and then come back to America, and I was doing comedy and in San Francisco, and something was different happening with music. You know, it was like hip hop was going on, Daisy Chain was happening in America, but there was this thing of like, you know, Britpop was just starting, but this other thing was happening where it was a confluence of hip hop sampling, like this kind of thing of like a different approach to music that was taking some elements of Northern soul and mixing it with hip hop and classical music, which was very different.
Yeah. So you bring it here, you come back here. And so when you started listening to this, so was this album Blue Lines like your first experience with them, or are you like diving into Protection or even Mezzanine?
I think it was this album. This album was probably the first, and the first song I became obsessed with was Daydreaming, because it's really I think it was the notes, because it's very atonal. That song is like really a strange bunch of notes that you don't hear in a pop song, whether it's like E flats or I'm not exactly sure. Like, I've never taken a tuner to that song.
Yeah. Are you normally doing that?
What? I mean, what? No, I'm like, what? Because usually you could hear the notes. Usually a song's going to start with a D or a G, sometimes an E. Or, you know, sometimes for me, it's like a B minor. That's like what I will like pick out of a song is like that's a C minor. Usually if I like a song, it's a C minor or a B minor. But this song, I'm like, what? Is that an E flat you're playing with? Like, I'm like, what the hell? And it's such a strange song and such a strange tone. And yet it's a jam.
Yeah.
And it
Jeremiah,
really is
hold on,
like
not to cut you
daydreaming.
off. Jeremiah, can you play Daydreaming for us real quick, just to refresh? Play Daydreaming. I don't know what track it is on the record, but let's see. Let's see if I can find it.
It's a center cut.
It's number 7. Oh wow, look at dude. Margaret's prepared, dude. It's like
right,
7th
it's
track.
deep
Can you play
inside.
minute 4, second 32? No,
Deep
can you play
inside.
it? What is that? Is that creek noise? Jer? Song 7. So, all right, so cut this off. All right, so then let me ask you a question, because this is what I want to get to, because I want to bring this up earlier, especially that part. But like, how big was this in England while you were there? Like, did Massive Attack just come out? Because trip hop, the word trip hop hadn't been created yet. There was no form or even idea or separate genre for what this music was at the time. It was just like, this was, like you said, their reaction to kind of what Americans were doing with music, with hip hop. And so this is more of like a down tempo, also inspired by like Pink Floyd and all these concept records. So like, how did you see this being perceived, and were they just like blown away by it?
Well, it was almost like I feel like it was a reaction to rave culture, and it was really an effect of the drugs we were doing too. I mean, it's like you can't do any of this music without drugs. That's a big part of the equation. And, you know, this is really all about ecstasy and raves. And that kind of like first sort of, you know, it was like Manchester and the Happy Mondays in that kind of like the drug-fueled music. But then it was like so much more about the experience of it. So like when I actually was going back to listen to this record from preparing to talk to you, and I haven't done drugs in a really long time, and these drugs in particular for a good 15 years, and it like exists somewhere in my spinal cord.
Yeah.
I got like a weird chemical taste in my mouth.
You started grinding your teeth and just started being like, does anybody have a pacifier? Can somebody give me a freeze down? I need a freeze down with some Vicks Vapor Rub and a deep tissue massage while sitting underneath stairs covered in soot.
It's so weird. Don't they? I mean, I don't know. Did you do those drugs?
Oh my God, yeah, dude. 1998, 99, up until about 2002, 2003, I was a full-blown candy raver. So, yeah. I mean, because you've been to Washington, D.C. Did you ever go to Nation? There's a party there called Buzz. It was this huge weekly party. Some of the biggest DJs in the world. Paul Oakenfold would be a regular there. Ronnie Size, Ed Rush, Optical. I got drawn more to drum and bass, but just the scene was this beautiful, like, because they really did live by that plur kind of message, the peace, love, unity, respect, and it was just copious amounts of ecstasy and ketamine, and that was my fucking jam, dude. Those are young man drugs. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
yeah.
as we evolve as addicts, we start getting into, like, we do the coke and then eventually settle into pills because we're more refined and our doctors give them to us. And we're like, no, this oxymorphine is 100% better than snorting cat tranquilizer.
Mm-hmm. It's true. But there was this in San Francisco, it was the early 90s, and the very first kind of bloom of adulthood, you know, for me, and you know, kind of becoming an adult and going out to these raves and parties where people were doing these drugs, and everybody it was like we're not going to do alcohol, we're going to do these drugs, and we're not going to do cocaine, we're going to do these drugs, where it's just like, instead of being sort of like obsessed with ourselves in like the cocaine era, which was very self reflective. It's about the group reflection. So,
yes,
let's take care of each other. And it's really, I think it's quite a beautiful thing. But then, it's this music reflects that.
See, that's so funny because I never would have put these two things together. But after reading about like how Massive Attack kind of started with the Wild Bunch, like they're this, I got into a discussion with my writer Morty, because I was saying, no, this came from the rave scene. And he's like, no, but it wasn't rave. It was hip hop. It was just the scene at the time. It's like there's like the rave scene isn't so much just dance music. There's hip hop heads there. There's rock fans. It's just a scene of this beautiful, like almost neo hippie movement in the new age. And it's beautiful. I always looked at, because I came into Massive Attack with Mezzanine. That was the first record by them I listened to all the way through. It was from Angel, Teardrop, all the hits off of it. Then I started working my way back, and I listened to Protection, which my favorite Massive Attack song ever, Better Things, is off the second album. And then this record, I kind of always just was like, I'd put it on, I'd listen to it a little bit, but I was really more drawn to their darker, more dub-oriented stuff. But man, I don't think there is better music to fuck to than Massive Attack. Like, what were British people fucking to prior to this?
Billy Fury.
Oh, when I saw her face, just like this, just pile driving your wife in Essex. But it's such great music. I don't think there is better music, not just to make love to, but to drive at night. It creates such a mood. And I love that you said it's about the group atmosphere, it's about the party, but I also feel like this is very like self-reflective music, where if you're dealing with something, if you want to be more in a spiritual, like meditative state, this music is perfect. And probably because it does have those elements of dance music, it does have those elements of deep hip hop, and then it also has these deep elements of Dark Side of the Moon and and Funkadelic or any of the people that they were influenced by. So this was really my first real foray into this record by them. And just to be completely honest, it's not my favorite by them, but it's cool to see where they started and to how they grew into becoming Massive Attack. And it's funny, Margaret, I went to go see them live. I think in December of 2019, they did Mezzanine all the way through.
Wow.
And it was so great to see it live. Not gonna lie, the show, they just stood there the whole show. They didn't move. There wasn't like full showmanship at all. Cool LED show, but I snuck from the VIP, and by the end of the show, I was all the way up front. And then this like drunk girl just kind of like mushed her way right next to me and just started like screaming the lyrics to Teardrop in my ear, and it kind of ruined the experience for me. So, but that girl then walked out of the club and got hit by a car. So no, I'm kidding, she didn't. But I like to. We can all dream. We can all have dreams. All right, so let's dive into the record. It starts off with "Safe from Harm." This is the third single. I also want to talk a lot about the samples that are used in their music. So this is built around a sample from Billy Cobham's 1973 song Stratus, with additional samples by Herbie Hancock and Funkadelic. And I really love the way they're using the samples and the way they're using them properly. So here, Peter, play the opening to the Billy Cobham song Stratus now. Can you skip ahead a little bit? Because it's when it kicks in. You can't? Give me a second. Because I think I saved them for us. All right. Well, I don't think that was the part or the song. So Peter, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out through editing. All right. But now, play the opening of Good Old Music by Funkadelic. All right, now, and then also, Margaret, when we edit this, we're gonna actually have the right clip. So just when you hear it, react as if you're like, oh my God, that was perfect. And now let's put them all together and play 231 from Safe from Harm. All right, kill it. What I love about that clip is not only did it mush those two together, but it took the best elements of those two songs and the two previous samples, and it just showcases, how great the use of sampling can be in merging that into one form. What are your thoughts on it?
Exactly, and it's just so masterful. And even the lyric references, looking back at you while you're looking back at me. It's self-referential as well, which is so genius. I think this song is so amazing, and it's one of those things where this song really, the whole thing in the video and all of it really blew me away, because it was one of the first times where you realize, oh, you could actually sing in a band but not be in the band with us.
Yeah.
Because I was like so confused by Massive Attack. But I'm like, who is in this band? Because I'm like, is she the singer of the band? No, she's a guest singer, but maybe it was like so hard to figure out, like when the beginning of sampling occurred, it's like, who's in this band? What's this band? What, because I didn't know any of this, and I didn't know about any of the samples before, and then when you're coming into this band learning about the samples and then you go and you find the original, and it's so interesting. But I love this song.
So you've mentioned the lyrics. I was looking back to see if you were looking back at me. To see me looking back at you is taken from the 1973 song Street Fighter by David Essex, and in the liner notes says that this record was influenced by Martin Scorsese's Taxi Driver. And if you don't know Taxi Driver, to the listeners out there, Robert De Niro plays a disturbed Vietnam vet, and he is violently obsessed with saving a hooker played by Jodie Foster, which is so great. Such a positive movie.
I love that movie. I would love to go to the movies with him. I would love to be Sybil Shepherd in that movie. I would love that movie. That's 70s porn that he goes to the movies with her.
Yeah, you're like really into 70s porn, huh?
I do. I love it. I think it's very cinematic. I like to go to a porn movie in a theater, though.
How many have you been to? Is there like an arc light of porn movies?
There's one called the Tiki Room. I don't know if it's open right now, but maybe it would be. There's a lot of crack. It's kind of like expensive. It's like $14. But it's only like it's pretty small, but I think only people who smoke crack go there.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But a lot of that doesn't really exist, because that was all sort of like Times Square kind of stuff.
Oh,
that's
before Giuliani.
It's not really there anymore. So it would be great to. I long for the days of that sort of porn chic in a porno theater.
Have you ever been to Studs?
Yes.
Tell me about Studs, because I've only seen the outside of it.
It's kind of it smells like cleaner, industrial strength cleaner.
Thank God.
Those places really smell like bleach inside. I think it's like a cleaner smell, like industrial strength cleaner. And
that's because are people fucking in there?
They're not. Well, I don't think people are actually having sex in there, but I think it's there. There's a lot of emphasis on washing, because it does get dirty. I think there's a lot of activity of lots of different kinds.
Yeah.
But that's what it's for.
For sure. Like, you can't get mad at Pee Wee Herman for masturbating in an adult movie theater because that's what everybody else was doing. What I'm wondering is why is somebody in there spying on him to call him out?
Yeah, I mean, but it's all for different reasons. People go for lots of different activities, but it they clean it a lot. So I think that the biggest smell in there is industrial strength cleaner.
Yeah, and butt sex, right?
Well, it's just you never smell this. I would rather smell the sex smell than I would the cleaner. The cleaner seems more toxic to me.
No, I understand that for sure.
You know?
Well, I know what, and when this is all over, you and we got to go to a fucking porno theater. I've never been.
There's got to be one somewhere. I mean, well, though there's the Tiki Room if it's still, I don't know, hopefully it'll stay open. Hopefully. We'll see.
Yeah, dude. Like, how are they surviving right now? Do you think as a porno theater you can apply for the PUA relief? The pandemic relief?
I mean, I think that place, it seems like it's recession-proof and maybe pandemic-proof because it's got so many people that go there for whatever reason. I mean, they have to go for whatever reason. So there's got to be reasons keeping it alive. But who knows?
There's got to be some very affluent, like, gay or straight person that like loves that place, that is just an investor in it, and it's just like, no, dude, people need a place to masturbate in public. We can't do it behind the Pinkberry on 3rd anymore. Like, we have to do it somewhere. You know what? It's funny that you said that this does remind you of 70s porno music, because I 100% can hear it. It's that bass line, that do 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 do. Yeah, dude, that's why we can fuck to this. All right, moving on. One Love. So you talked about the various artists that are in this group. Jamaican vocalist, songwriter Horace Andy sings about monogamy over samples from Isaac Hayes, and I'm going to fuck this up, the Mahavishnu Orchestra. Horace is the only outside singer to appear on all 5 Massive Attack albums. If anybody, we're going to play the clip of his voice. He's the guy that does the singing in Angel, which when I found out that was a guy, it blew my fucking mind. I would have put everything that I owned on the fact that I thought it was a female vocalist. Mm-hmm. But here, let's play a little taste of this, and then I want to play the samples. All right, kill it. All right, now let's hear some of the samples. All right, play the opening of Ike's Mood by Isaac Hayes. All right, kill it. And now I really love this next sample. Play 1:50 from You Know by Mahavishnu Orchestra. All right, kill it. I just hearing that little keyboard piano thing, that boom, like just the fact that they pulled that and combined that with the Isaac Hayes thing, I think is fucking genius, man. Yeah. Such a great song. What are your thoughts?
It's so genius. I mean, it's really playing these samples like they were just separate like notes and instruments unto themselves, which I think is the perfect way to use them, and really genius. And I mean, it is very orchestral and a new way of looking at music, and I love that. Yeah.
So talking about love, so you're identified as pansexual, but you've been married to a man, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, so do you think you could or would get married to anyone else across the gender spectrum?
I would, but I don't know if I believe in marriage per se for myself right now. I don't know if that would be something that I would believe in for my life as appropriate. But I think, yeah, it's possible. It's possible that I could be in a relationship with a man or a woman or somebody that was gender fluid or non-binary for sure.
what makes you so turned off from the idea of marriage now?
I just want to live alone. I really enjoy living by myself. I really love being in the middle of the bed and not having to inquire about what we were going to like eat for dinner or watch on TV.
Yeah. Oh my God. I have these moments during the pandemic where I'm like, God, I'm really lonely. I would love some human contact. And then I'm like, no, because I also really enjoy just being here by myself, watching whatever the fuck I want to watch, going to bed, eating whenever I want to eat, not having to ask any questions. Like, relationships are cool. They're great.
Cool.
But at the same time, being alone and being okay with being alone is fucking dope.
It's so dope. I mean, I have company when I want it, which is great because I am seeing somebody, but it's definitely something that I treasure the time that I have alone, and I don't think I want to live with anybody again. And then I think that marriage is really, I think it's something that I experienced for long enough, and I'm just happy alone. You know, I don't need to define myself in that relationship anymore.
Am I going to die alone? Can you answer me that? You're a very wise, spiritual person. Am I going to die alone? Because I had that thought yesterday, and I was like, should I tweet that? And then I was like, God, I don't think that's something to put out into the universe.
I don't think that I mean, yeah, you know, it's not. I don't think it's that simple. I don't think it's that. I think it's really it's not really possible for any of us to die alone because it's not like we are solitary individuals anyway. You know, so, you know, no. But it's more about whether or not we're going to be happy or not. You know, you can be alone in a marriage. You can be alone in a family just as easily, sometimes more so.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. Great answer. But instead of saying, yeah, dude, you're going to die alone, bro. All right. Blue Lines. This is the title song. Off the record, it contains samples from 1974's Sneaking in the Back by Tom Scott and the LA Express and 1976's Rock Creek Park by the Blackbirds. This part that I'm about to play is my favorite part of the entire album. Peter, give it to me. Kill it. What I love about this song is, like you said this earlier, but before I'd even heard you say it, this is the only thing I can think about is this is the perfect song just to get high to. Mm-hmm. It's the chillest rap song. It's the exact like opposite of the direction that hip hop has gone now, where it's so aggressive, it's so machismo and like in your face, and this is just this like beautiful like flow and vibe, and that little keyboard sample that they pull from that song is just so incredible. And I mean, you gotta say, like the lyrically, it's fantastic. They, you know, he rhymes soliloquy with flexibility, then goes into like mi chiamo 3D si sono inglesi. I mean, it's fucking great, man. What are your thoughts?
I love 3D. I mean, I think Robert Donahoe is he's just so his agility as a rapper is really unusual, and he's just like got this electricity, but it's subtle, and it kind of, he doesn't have to like flex so you know, huge. Like he can be very very like cool about it. Like he's just cool. Tricky too. Tricky is just like an alien to me.
Yes.
And that's, I remember like Tricky talking about it in like some Spin article in like 1994. Like he's just very much like, he's like, I'm an alien like Bruce Lee and Prince. And I'm like, that's so true.
Yeah.
He's just like that.
I mean, I love Tricky so much. I love what the stuff he made when he broke off and started going solo. I love, what is it, Maxinique? I think that's how you say it. His solo
I thought
record.
It was Maxinque. I don't know how you say it.
You know what?
Cool.
You're probably saying it right. Maxinque. That's even better.
So
but
cool.
I love him. I loved him in The Fifth Element. Just a great song. And it has a bunch of references to other song titles throughout it too, which is pretty cool. So, where am I? All right, so let's move on to the next one. Be thankful for what you got. So this Tony Bryan song cover of William DeVaughn's 1974 hit is retitled to fix the grammatically incorrect original Be Thankful for What You Got. It was Daddy G's idea to record this, but 3D thought the music was too straightforward for them, but he considered the lyrics topical. He also remarked, "It's a sentiment for the 90s. What's the point in killing people for their Nikes? We're living in a time where nobody can be satisfied with what they've got because of the media. You're bombarded with stuff to desire." And in my opinion, this is basically the same song as the original. So, Peter, play a little taste. Brothers and sisters. All right, kill it. So this song, man, brings up so many fucking memories. Not even this version of it. So this song brings up so many memories. Not even this version of it, but the original. My friends Arthur and Matt, we used to do a lot of cocaine at this place called the Ski Lounge. It's all good. So we used to do a lot of cocaine, me and two of my buddies at the Ski Lounge, the Sky Lounge in Baltimore. And we used to listen to the original version just over and over and over. So the second I re-listened to this song, it just took me back to like the height of my cocaine days. And it's great because it's just a simple message. Just be thankful for what you got. You know what I mean? But if you get money, get a diamond in the back, a sunroof top, and put TV in that shit. Tell me, how do you feel about this?
I love this song. I mean, I think that this is like, it proves my theory that really good music comes from places that are really cold. And because when you're inside a lot, you can make really good music. And this is just like another sort of like another song that just proves that. Because it just sounds like when you hear it, it's like, it's cold outside. But it's such a beautiful, beautiful song. And I think it's another like reflection of that sort of Northern soul thing and how much they really admire American soul and American songwriting. And that kind of like, it is kind of this kind of like soul revival, but it's also very... It's very literal. It's a very literal cover, you could tell that it's also very modern and done through like the computer. Like it's very digital. It's really interesting. Like how they took a very analog recording and then they digitized it in a very different way, which I think is so unique. And I think it's very 90s too, which is not to say that it's dated at all, which you would think now that, that's dated, but it's actually still very modern.
No, it feels modern. So you mentioned something a second ago. Do you feel like if this band was in America, in Arizona, we would get the sound that Massive Attack is putting out? Like, I feel like this is, like you said, this is the reaction to the rainy, cold, like English weather, right?
Yes, but I think you also have great music in Arizona or where it's hot because you still have to be inside.
What bands are from Arizona though?
The Gin Blossoms, who I actually really, really love. So
you're big Blossomy.
I love the Gin Blossoms. I love Jimmy Eat World. You have quite a lot of interesting bands coming out of Arizona because it's so hot that they have to be inside all the time. So they're always playing. Megadeth currently reside in Arizona. So absolutely, lots of great bands are in Arizona. I can tell you there is a very it's quite interesting. K-pop all in Korea. It's very extreme weather in Korea.
What's the weather like in Korea? When you say extreme, what does that mean?
They have like intense winters and intense summers. So you're basically inside 3/4 of the year because there's like a monsoon season. There's like you can't go outside. You'll die in winter. You'll die in summer. So it's like a very very you're sheltered. You're inside a lot.
Okay, I want to ask you this question based around being thankful for what you got. What's the dumbest thing you ever bought that you thought would make you feel better?
A Pilates machine when I was drunk. I bought a Pilates machine like in the 90s off of television after drinking an entire bottle of Maker's Mark. When I was drunk at a gig at Caroline's in the middle of the night. And then I tried to return it the next day on the phone. I never received it.
Oh, you never got it?
No, I never got it. But I bought it. I ordered it drunk, and then I tried to return it hungover. Drunk. I'm still drunk a little bit.
Yeah. I ordered this.
Forget it.
Last night. Oh God. Can I have some of that water over there? Thank you. Yeah. This just isn't gonna work. I'm more of a Peloton person. I don't. That's so great. Why did you return it? It's Pilates. You could have like fucking kicked ass on that thing.
Well, I returned it because it was like it was way too early of a generation of the Pilates. Like now it would be good. But in the 90s it wouldn't have been good.
Yeah. I guess Pilates wasn't big back then, was it?
Well, it was just starting to sort of be a thing. I mean, it had started to be a thing, I guess, in the 1920s. But at that point in the 90s, it was still not really good for the home market.
Well, hold on. Wait, did you just say that Pilates was around in the 1920s?
Yeah. I think it was invented in the 19-teens, I believe.
Chair, can you look that up?
I believe Joseph Pilates.
It's a real guy. I feel like I'm calling bullshit right now. Henry, no. Philip Peloton, and Jamie Pilates.
I believe it was Joseph Pilates invented it in the teens or the 1920s.
Fucking way. I would have
That's
100%
my idea.
thought it was just some like this is like one. I would have thought a woman would have invented it. Here we go. History of Pilates. Holy shit, there's a guy named Joseph Pilates. Oh my God, and he's from my favorite town in Germany, Dusseldorf. And he suffered from asthma and rickets.
Mm-hmm.
What's rickets?
Is it a bone disease?
Oh, okay, well, I probably shouldn't make fun of it. They should name it something different. Rickets is kind of funny. During the First World War. All right, Jesus Christ, I can't believe that. I am in complete and utter shock right now.
Yeah.
I had
so
no
that's right,
idea,
isn't it?
dude.
Yeah.
I didn't know that Pilates dated back that deep.
Yes.
Like, well, good for you. Good for you for buying it. Good for you for returning it. Did you get your money back?
Well, they had never received the order because I was so drunk. I don't even know who I ordered it from. So, who knows?
I'm trying to think of the weirdest shit I ordered when I was fucked up. See, I don't know. I didn't really have money when I used to get fucked up. So, and now that I have money, I'm sober, so I don't fucking ever buy anything stupid. So now I'm good with my money.
Yeah.
But I would buy, like, if I really had the room for it, I would get I'd get a Pilates thing.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
All right, let's move on. Five Many Army, composed with a sample from Al Green's 1972 song, I'm Glad You're Mine. This track's deep dub bass line and vibe are a reflection of Daddy G's love for that genre. and its title and idea are lifted from the 1982 dub version of the song by dancehall reggae artist Dillinger. They do this really great arg run in the rapping, and it's just perfect. Peter, play it. God, all right, kill it. All right, two things. One, I fucking love the British accent more than any accent in the world. I
so
love.
Cool.
It's so cool. It's so refined. I've even changed my Siri and my Amazon Alexa voice to have the British accent. Two, it's just. Hold on, I just turned my Alexa on. I don't need you right now, okay? Jesus, you say it, and the bitch is always listening. So something else is wait, what was I about to say? Fuck, I forget. All right, we'll have to edit that, Peter. So I found this, and this is pretty cool. This is an autobiographical song about the Wild Bunch's wild early days of playing house parties and touring Japan, and includes Wild Bunch entourage member Claude Willie Wee Williams, who rapped on this with Horace and Tricky. 3D explains why there's another shout out to his Sony Budokan Walkman, which was a special edition that came out with plush, oversized headphones, by saying every rap track has a reference to Sony. It's not a plug for them, though. It's a totally obsessive object, and if you have something that you're really into, you constantly think about it. So when I think about words in music, I constantly think of my Budokan. It's that simple. I don't even know what the fuck. I remember Sony Walkmans. Do you remember what he's talking about?
I always thought he was talking about the Budokan Stadium.
Okay.
But I guess the Walkman, I don't know, but you hear the word a lot when you're referencing. He's referencing.
Oh,
yes.
I thought of I remember the other thing I wanted to say. This song is, I feel, the direction that Massive Attack was going to go with Protection. Like, this song sounds the most like this should have been on the following record, whereas the other songs, stick to this Blue Lines flow. Your feelings on this?
I love it. I mean, I think it's just, it just sounds so cool. It really, you need to do hits from the bong. Like, this is kind of, to me, this is very British Cypress Hill, too. That's what it reminds me of. Like, I love Cypress Hill. They're good friends of mine, and I definitely feel the lung burn when I listen to this song.
Yeah.
Wait. So good.
So wait, tell me, how did you become friends with Cypress Hill?
I would go to their shows. We did a lot of different, when I used to smoke weed, we would do a lot of different, like, marijuana. Before it was legal, we'd do like a lot of marijuana legalization shows. And then we were talking about putting together sort of a Costco style business where medical marijuana distributors would buy from us outside of the city, and then they would sell inside of the city. So you would bring like sort of a membership card to our facility outside of cities and buy huge amounts of marijuana and take it to your dispensary. But I didn't end up doing it. But anyway, so
do you have any great like getting fucked up with Cypress Hill stories, or what's your favorite Cypress Hill story?
It's just so they're so amazing. I mean, so many times. But what's so great is like they are so amazingly like business oriented and on top of everything, and all their merchandising and all of their like stuff, like all of their compound, like, you go downtown and everything that they're doing is all set up so well for business. And they knew all about like this entire boom of like marijuana like business way before anybody else. So they got like a head start on it. They were like Dr. Green Thumb, so far ahead of the game. And so I'm really amazed at how entrepreneurial that they've been and so smart about it. And I mean, I love them.
You've gotten completely blitzkrieged on weed with them?
So high that I'm like, I can't believe how high. And like I've gotten really high with them. I've gotten really high with Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg loves to roll, though. That's the danger of Snoop Dogg. He loves to roll joints and blunts so that he continues to roll and then hand them to you. So you're just lighting them, and then he'll keep rolling. Then you lose count.
Oh my God, that's so great though. I would,
It's
you know
so
what,
funny.
like I don't really smoke pot during the day anymore. I only use it to go to sleep at night. But if the opportunity ever came up to get high with them, I mean, with Cypress Hill, it's like, because I'm friends with Tom Murillo and so I've been backstage and I met him. I met Be Real. Still haven't been in the area of Snoop Dogg in my life yet, but I mean, I'm only 40 and I don't even know how old Snoop Dogg is. He hasn't aged. Yeah. Literally.
He's like a king. I mean, he is a king, like, but he has that energy of like a really, he just carries himself like royalty, which he should because he is. Yeah. But you really feel it in his presence. And I've noticed, I've known him since, I think, like 1998, and he's definitely just shown that for me for all this time. Like I've definitely like really experienced that joy of being around him. But I've had Thanksgiving with him, and he's amazing.
Dude, that is dope, dude. Listen, if he ever does like a Passover Seder, let him know that I want to come over.
Absolutely.
Because I go to my mom's for Thanksgiving. That's the one holiday I got to spend with my mom. My mom goes all out.
That's nice.
All right. Unfinished Sympathy. So this was the second single. It was actually released a couple months before the album under the temporary band name Massive to avoid any issue with the radio ban during the ongoing Gulf War. Shara Nelson came up with this song and recorded it with co-producer Johnny Dollar before the group built on it, including adding a lush 40-piece live string section. Because they didn't, this is really cool, because they didn't have the budget to afford the string section, Mushroom sold his car, a Mitsubishi Shogun, to pay for it. I love that. I love when you just like, you're like, fuck it, man. We gotta make this song perfect. We gotta fucking do it. Like, I mean, how much is a Mitsubishi Shogun? Jeremiah, can you look that up while we go on? I want to find out. So it's like, I don't know, what year is this? This came out in 91. So check the price of a 1991 Mitsubishi Shogun. In an example of deconstruction, the song has no traditional bass line and no real chorus. Shara sings of guarded longing for her lover over samples of fusion guitarist John McLaughlin's 1975 Planetary Citizen and J.J. Johnson's 1974 Parade Strut, and a rhythm track based on the bells found on Bob James' 1975 Take Me to the Mardi Gras. This is really cool. We were talking about samplings, so I want to play a little bit. So play the opening of Unfinished Sympathy. All right, now play the opening of Planetary Citizen by Mahavishnu Orchestra. I mean, that was it. Kill it. That was it. Just that little hey, hey, hey. I just find it so interesting what samples they choose to use. Thoughts on this song?
It's really incredible. There's so much layering happening here.
Yeah.
And that's the genius of this song. And I think Massive Attack's genius is that they just know where to put it in and pull out before it becomes a mess. So easily this could become really too much, and they know where to end. You know, it's just this calculated mess, which is amazing. That it's so divine to hear. And it is like, you do have to listen to it with headphones to really understand the complexity of it.
Yes.
It's truly a masterpiece. I love this song, and it is kind of like our generation's answer to All You Need Is Love, with the orchestral component added. And coming in, during this sort of Gulf War, that piece of it too, it's a lot. I love that.
So I wanted to ask you, being that this song is about sacrifice, what's the biggest sacrifice you've made for your dreams?
I think, the biggest sacrifice would just be everything, this sort of relationship with safety, or any kind of idea of doing something with a net. With comedy, you're just out there flying blind without any kind of safety net, without any kind of security. You just go. And I think that's what we all do. So we're all really under this guise of we're going to be okay. But really, comedians are really the most dangerous animals of all. Yeah.
So how old were you when you finally decided you were like, it's do or die?
Oh, I was 14. So right. I started pretty young, but I knew that I wanted to do it when I was 8. So I've been like a lifelong devotee.
Yeah. I mean, I remember watching George Carlin at 6 years old when my dad was watching Comic Relief, and I was like, that's what I want to do. But it took me until I was 27 to have the fucking balls to do it. But like, how do you feel about, let me ask you this, how do you feel about comedy in the new normal that we're in now? Are you performing?
I am on it's hard. I am on online, and it's really a sad thing because I miss doing live shows. I would love to do some like drive-in shows, but it's something that I haven't done yet. I would love to do shows, I think, at some point, but it's I'm just trying to figure it out. Like, we're all just trying to figure it out. But live shows have been okay. I mean, live shows on Zoom have been okay. Like, now they're like letting in some audience, and it's definitely better with people. Yeah. But it's hard. Are you doing shows?
I mean, I have yet to do a Zoom show. We're doing the goddamn comedy jam at this place called the In Crowd. So it's very like Minority Report, where you can see everybody. It's almost like a television studio. And you could see like 50 or 60 people. And in my opinion, the COVID quarantine, whatever we're going to call this, has been the greatest thing for me as a comic, because it just made me so grateful for every set that I get from this point on, knowing that it could be taken away, whether it's a virus, it could be me getting sick, it could be there's a war, like who knows what it could be the next time. So I'm treating every set as if it's like, this could be my last one. So just have fun, be present, and just enjoy every fucking second. And even if it's not even about killing anymore, it's just about me having fun. And
exactly.
Yeah, man. It's beautiful. It's really beautiful to be able to see how comics are so resilient. And it's like, no, we'll figure out a way to do this. Doesn't make a difference.
Yes.
All right, moving on. Daydreaming. This first single was released 6 months before the album. Samples Mambo by Wally. I'm going to fuck this up. Bataroo. And again features vocals by Shara Nelson. This was the first song produced for Blue Lines. After the demo for this got them their record deal. 3D and Tricky combined their lyrics reminiscing about drugs, house parties, and the rough life of 80s Thatcher-era urban England. We played a little bit of this at the beginning, but I want to play it again. This is the weirdest moment on the entire record. Peter, play 153. All right, kill it. Was not expecting a Fiddler on the Roof.
Fiddler on the Roof.
on this song. There's something about that. It keeps popping up in various hip hop songs that it just still blows my mind every time I hear it.
It's so weird. It's so weird, but it really fits. And Maggie this, Maggie that, talking about inflation.
Yeah.
So great. I love this song. I think it's so weird and it's so timely, but it never goes out of time. Like it's always timely. It's great.
Yeah, it's a great song. Lately. So this was Shara singing another song of heartbreak and regret over a sample from Lowrell Simon's 1979 Mellow Mellow right now. Peter, play the opening from the Lowrell Simon song. All right, now play the opening of Lately by Massive Attack. All right, kill it. I love this song so much. I mean, they didn't change much, but they added just that little bit of trip hop tinkle on it, and it is so good. I love this song. It's probably one of my favorite ones on the record. It's the chillest on the album. It's the most down-tempo song, and it's just perfect. And I love the little, like, mushroom DJ skills that are, like, going on throughout it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it really gives me a drug flashback. This is the one where I'm rolling. Like, I feel it now. Like, this one really makes my salivary glands really go into overdrive. And then it's like my eyes start to shake. My eyeballs are, like, shaking. It's the weirdest thing. Like, those drugs really stay in your nervous system. I really feel like they're really, it is like, I feel like I'm on ayahuasca or something. I mean, you really don't ever have to do drugs again if you've done as many as I have.
Sure. Oh, no. I get like ketamine flashbacks because I had like not a near death experience, but I remember being at a rave and I had been doing some K, but not a lot. And then I went out. I was at this place called The Edge in DC, and I smoked a blunt with this guy, and I was fine. And then I got up to go back into the club, and as I walked in, it was like I was so fucked up that I didn't believe that I existed anymore. And it's also when you're at a rave and you're high on something like ketamine, which gives you this dreamlike state, you know, then add in the repetition of the music, just that constant beat, you know, that song that goes on for like 7-8 minutes of just the same sound over and over. And then you, as people are walking through the club, they're all fucked up on drugs, so they look like they're almost like zombies. And it just, and that experience that I felt there, like I've had flashbacks of that throughout my lifetime. Not so much anymore. But yeah, dude, it's like I never get like ecstasy flashbacks.
Oh, I'm like always just like on the verge of an ecstasy flashback. Like, but music really is the one thing that will really bring it back. It's like this song and then this whole record actually, and anything by D-Light, especially Groove is in the Heart.
The groove that you do down my back made my school on satisfaction. What's to come? Satisfaction on that stuff. I couldn't dance with another. Oh, we dance on the road. God was cold and never fold. The best part was she's like, I'm all dishes, all malicious, just lovely and nutritious. That was my fucking jam, dude. God, I
dance with another.
I would have loved to see. What are you dressing like during D-Light? Were you full D-Light?
I was full D-Light. I had like the suede platform shoes, but it had a pilgrim buckle. But it was like this very square toe, but they were like 5 inches high, but they were blocks. And like Harlequin tights are one black leg, one white leg, and a mini skirt, and like just black bob that was really severe.
Oh, I bet you look so cute. Do you have any pictures that you could like send us that we could like post on the 500 Instagram to kind of go with this?
I will try to find some. You know, it's like one of those things where we didn't have cameras. We didn't have like I'd have like a Fujifilm box camera or something maybe somewhere.
Oh God! But you know, and you know, let me know if you agree or disagree with me on this. Like, I'm upset that there's just this whole like section of my rave days that just there's maybe 2 pictures of me that I have, but then also I'm almost glad that there's only 2 pictures because I was fucking rolled out of my face, like chewing my up to my nose, just fucking sweating, looking like shit. Like, have you ever seen pictures of people on ecstasy with their eyes like they're just fucking? Oh, I have no idea where I am.
Precious few. I mean, you see more pictures of people on Molly, but not on ecstasy. You know what I mean? There's a big difference actually.
Yeah, because ecstasy is usually cut with either heroin or meth or coke. Mitsubishi double stacks. Did you ever do one of them?
No, what is that?
That was a pill. It was like there were the Nike symbols, the Mitsubishi double stacks, the white diamonds. I always remember New Year's Eve from 98 to 99. I was at Buzz and I met some dudes. I ran out of money and I'd already taken like 2 or 3 ecstasy pills because I always did a lot. And I remember I ran out of money and I met this guy. He was a dealer, and I was like, dude, just loan me 1 pill, and I promise you I will, give me your number and I will call you tomorrow and I will come and drop off the money. And he was like, all right, dude, whatever, man, just here, it's New Year's, take the pill. And then the next day I called him and this guy was like, I can't believe you weren't lying. Like, you're the most trustworthy drug user I've ever met in my life.
Nice.
And then it was a beautiful moment. It was a very beautiful moment.
Yeah.
He actually got hit by a car, so he's gone now.
Oh.
But no, I'm just kidding. I have no idea. He's probably doing fine.
Yeah.
Hopefully he's not dealing anymore. What if he is? All right. Final song on the record, Hymn of the Big Wheel. This ecological and geopolitical issues was the 4th and final single with their cover of Be Thankful for What You've Got on the flip side. This was co-written and sung by your girl, Nene Cherry, whose husband, Cameron Booga Bear McVeigh, managed the group and co-produced this record, much of it at their house in their kid's nursery. Before I go on with the rest of it, was Nene Cherry the girl that went, you like to jam in the buffalo stance? You're about to say it in the buffalo.
Raw like sushi. That. She's great.
Yeah. All right, so this is the only song on here with no samples and Horace Andy's only entirely original collaboration with Massive Attack. Do you remember, though, a few songs ago when I said that moment was my favorite on the record?
Mm-hmm.
I lied. Peter? All right, kill it. Love this song. Great way to close out the record. How do you feel about it?
I love this song. It really is a hymn. I mean, it's a really beautiful song. And it's like, these songs are really, it's interesting because I don't think any of them come in under 6 minutes. They're all like 7-8 minute songs. They're like elegies, These are very, very big. They're suites. It's like, concertos. It's really beautiful, and it's a very majestic way to end this very majestic record.
Yeah, it kind of ends it on a like an uplifting note. Whereas some of the other stuff, I'm not saying it's depressing music at all, but definitely trip hop sets a mood. And I said it could be very self-reflective. It could be you can listen to this if you're in a bad mood. You can listen to this if you're in a good mood. But this has this cadence or sound or whatever the chords are that just literally it's like uplifting you. And, to see where they went after this record, and because they did start taking much more of a darker turn, it's just a nice positive like little button on this album.
It is. I mean, it is. It's really. It's kind of them in their youth, before they went on to like Karma Coma and Protection and all these other sort of things where they were getting sort of a very dark space, and it's different. They became very, very, very famous, and then it's like it's 3D Banksy and
yeah. But I kind of hope he is. Like I kind of hope he is.
I think he is, but that's my I really want him to be Banksy, but it's okay, whatever. I believe that he is, but it's really like they just, this is like kind of before like all of the fame, and it was a different time, there was an innocence to it, and right now, like that point in time in Britain, the big stars, it was like, think about like the Britpop was at its height, it was like Nebworth and Oasis versus Blur and Tracksuits, and this is like this new sound that was so different, and so this is exciting. It was great.
I wanted to be Richard Ashcroft so fucking bad, man. Like I was obsessed with British music. I mean, if you were British and in a band in like the late 90s, early 2000s, I had your record. I checked in every year to see who won the Mercury Music Prize, and I listened to every record on that list. This wasn't, I don't know if this was nominated. I don't think it was. I know Mezzanine was. But it just, there's something about it. Like I said earlier, I just think that you get great music out of that country. So I wanted to ask you this. Is this your favorite Massive Attack record?
It's hard to say. I mean, I think, my favorite Massive Attack song is Rising Sun, which is not on this record.
It's off Mezzanine, right?
Yes. So it's kind of like, I feel like Mezzanine might be my favorite record, but it's hard to, I don't know, because it's like almost, and I love Protection also. So, and Karma Coma, it's like, I have a hard, I don't know. I can't say what is my favorite. I love all of their stuff. I love all the things they've done, and all of the different incarnations of them. And I love the stuff Tracy Thorn's done with them. And, it's just, I just love the band. And I wish I got to see them in December. That would have been a great, I would have really
It was great. I acted like I went, I don't know. I guess maybe I was expecting much more of a show, and they put on a great show. So I feel like, to all the listeners and even yourself, I was like, I'm not shitting on them. I love Massive Attack. I paid $200 for the ticket. I'd probably pay, if they do another tour where they're covering just a full, because they just played Mezzanine and a couple of like odd covers. If they come around here again, 100% I'll go see them. And it was really cool to see Horace Andy there, and but it's that drunk chick, man. She kind of ruined it for me a little bit.
Wow.
All right, you want to do some facts and get out of here?
Yes.
Okay. Half of the album was recorded at Nene Cherry's and Cameron Booga Bear McVeigh's home studio in their kids' nursery, which they called Cherry Bear. But after nobody noticed that one of the baby's used diapers got caught in the air vent when the couple left the band there to work for the summer, they renamed it the Poo Room.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. How do you not notice the shit smell? Speaking of shit smells, what's the shittiest place or gig you've ever played?
The shittiest?
Yeah.
Well, it's hard. I don't know if it's the shittiest, but it's just hard to get to. Like, I remember just going and doing one gig, like 3 different corporate gigs in one day. So I did like one in the morning, and then I got on a plane. I did one in like Reno, and then I did one in like Kansas, all in one day. So that was like the hardest, and that, I guess it would be shittiest because they were all like corporate and they were all in one day. That sucked.
But then you checked your bank account and you were good. Like, it was good. Yeah.
Awesome.
Dude, corporate gigs are horrible, and yet they pay more than 90% of the fun gigs.
So good.
So let's not talk about the actual show. What's the shittiest venue?
Oh, the shittiest venue. Oh, it was in the 80s, and it was a morning. Anything in the morning is fucked up. It was a morning Republicans breakfast convention where I had to be a fake feminist coming to object. So I was a plant.
Wow.
And and it was so horrifying. I didn't realize, I was too young to understand what it was about, and it was so sickening.
What'd you say?
So,
were you just like, you were like, fucking no to Prop 43?
I was paid to come and scream at them that they were racist and horrible, which they were.
Which they were, yeah.
So it was right. Then they wanted that, but it was like so awful to actually be there and do it and get paid for it. At least I got paid pretty well for it, but it was like really scary. A couple $100, which was a lot in the 80s for a teenager for sure.
Yeah. And you bought a fucking Pilates machine with it.
Yes.
And
but you never got it. Yes.
All right. So their name was shortened. Let me take that again. Their name was a shortened version of the Underground Massive Attack, a nickname given to the Wild Bunch, the Bristol collective of DJs and musicians where they evolved. Speaking of evolution, you came up, you had your own TV show way before Asian American female talents were in the mainstream. And now we see this thriving industry with people like Awkwafina and Sandra Oh and Ali Wong. Do you take a little bit of pride in being the pioneer?
I take all the pride. They're all my children. I love them, and I'm so grateful and so happy to have inspired and brought along this movement.
So you talk to them regularly? And
yes.
I mean,
and I'm here for the culture. Yes.
Say what?
I'm here for the culture.
Yeah. All right, where are we? Let's see. Okay. Fight Club novelist Chuck Palahniuk. Do you know how to say his name?
Palahniuk.
Okay. Fight Club novelist Chuck Palahniuk was a fan. He said, "This album is chill music for me. Music to write to. I'm writing short stories to this right now. I put this on repeat, something Andy Warhol used to do. He'd put singles on and play them unendingly to the point where the language would break down, and he would paint to that trance-like repetition." Who blew your mind to find out was a fan of your work?
Probably Chuck. He's
wow.
awesome. He's awesome. He is a great writer and a great guy. Amazing. So yeah, I love him a lot. I mean, yeah. So yeah, that would be probably one of my favorites.
How perfect that the one person we mention is the one. That's so cool. All right. The one continuous shot video for Unfinished Sympathy by director Bailey Walsh of Sharon Nelson walking around the streets of L.A. was either paid tribute to or ripped off for the Verve's 1997 video for Bittersweet Symphony. I've never seen the Unfinished Sympathy video, but I have seen Bittersweet Symphony, which it's so funny. We were just talking about Richard Ashcroft. So what was your most memorable experience with being ripped off?
I bought I think it's called a Dubec in Essaouira in Morocco for John Bryan, the producer, singer-songwriter. And then I carried it back from there. It was in 2008, and it was not operational. So they had sold me one. They had played it for me. I played it there, but they had taken it and then they switched it out with one that didn't play.
Really?
So I think it's a common sort of bait and switch, was they take it and they take it to the back room and wrap it for you. And
wow, that's shady
sad
as
because it
fuck.
was. I mean, it was not particularly expensive, but the hand carrying of this instrument was quite a chore. So and I brought it all the way to the studio. I brought it to Ocean Sound in Hollywood for him.
Yeah.
And that sucked.
What was his reaction when you pulled it out?
He was very excited, but then we were trying to play it, but it wouldn't play. So it was like, how is this not working? And then because he can play anything, he's a very amazing multi-instrumentalist. He can play all instruments, but couldn't play that, so we couldn't figure it out.
Okay. All right. Last fact. The cover of the album with their band name over the universal symbol for flammable material was inspired by the 1979 album In Flammable Material by Northern Irish punk band Stiff Little Fingers. What currently inspires you?
I think what is inspiring, well, all the people that are going out and voting in person, that's really cool. I have been watching that and seeing people like waiting in line, going really early in the morning. That's like so incredible. I just got my ballot tracks thing that I sent my ballot in. So I voted a couple days ago, and they received my ballot, which is really great because you get a verification. So we're hoping. We'll see.
Oh, God. It's please, God.
Yeah.
If I don't have to hear that dude's name anymore, I'll be the happiest guy in the world. Just please.
Yeah.
Margaret, this was fantastic. Do you have anything you want to promote?
We are going to be back on the road when this is all over. So check us out. MargaretCho.com, Margaret_Cho on Insta, at Margaret Cho on Twitter. I'll be out on the road someday soon.
We will. 2022, y'all, is going to be popping, so save your money because it's going to be a big year. I bet Massive Attack, honest to God, I bet every band that you know and love will be touring the second this is over. Bands that had broken up are probably going to get back together so they can go out on the tour.
Absolutely.
So it's going to be
I'm going
great.
to see everybody.
100%. And if Massive Attack comes around here, you and I are going together.
We're going.
Cool.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you, darling.
Thank you.